So this is a project that Sarah and I made together with a Singaporean poet. His name is Edwin Thambu. He's a very famous Singaporean poet, and he has a long history of remarkable work. And Sarah and I invited him to participate in this installation. Our concept was basically to ask him to read a selection of his poems. He could make the selection himself from the whole history of his work. He chose 28 poems, and then we filmed him reciting each of these poems. So he's just standing in front of the camera and speaking each of these poems one after another. Now in this installation you see him 28 times all around in this circle, and you have a possibility to then randomly mix between one poem and another. So after we recorded the poems, we actually subdivided each poem into phrases. And the interactive system allows you to choose one or other of his personage here, and whichever one you choose, he will then begin speaking this poem. Well, not just begin, wherever he finished reading, he will then start reading thereafter. So actually, you will have probably hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of possible permutations, because as you turn the wheel, basically you are mixing phrases from these 28 poems. So it's a combinatory work based on the history of poetic production of this remarkable Singaporean poet. Many of the aspects of the Llull exhibition is how meaning emerges from recombinatory processes. And here, of course, you have the original meaning embedded in each poem, but then by combining phrases from one poem and another, you have emergent meaning, an infinite range of emergent meanings. In other words, the viewer who is playing with this machine is actually creating new poems on the fly. Certainly, as one plays with his work, one is often surprised by how one poem fits so perfectly into another. And when we worked with Edwin, he was also completely amazed, because he was hearing for himself for the first time the recombination of, in fact, a life's work in poetry.